What is the most important safety policy? Welcome to Fresh Fridays. I'm Pastor Tony, and today we'll be looking at a fresh idea that you can use in your kids' ministry. Different churches have different handbooks or policies and procedures. I've been in some churches where their handbook is 40, 50 pages deep. I've been in other ones where it's one piece of paper, if they're lucky to even have one. So with all of the different safety processes, policies, procedures that are out there, you've got insurance companies, your board you've got to approve stuff through, your pastor you're responsible to, the kids you've got to take care of, your volunteers, training, it's exhausting. If there's one safety thing, one safety point that's the most important, what would be that one thing? Are you ready for that fresh idea today? The most important safety thing that I would encourage you to do is simply this: never, ever, ever be alone with a child. Never let a volunteer be alone with a child. You see, all the other safety policies and procedures, they're great. It boils down to the key point of making sure we're keeping the child safe and we're keeping you free from accusations. So we want to make sure that we never, ever allow an adult to be alone with a child. So here's a couple things that you can do to help keep that from happening. First off, instill it into your volunteers the importance of never accepting children into the classroom until you have 2 volunteers. Make sure you got 2 people in there. Once I have 2 people, then I can start taking kids. Well, what about that exception? That one child who comes early with their parents? Whatever. It doesn't matter. We never take kids until we have 2 volunteers. So now we have our 2 volunteers. We start accepting children in the classroom. As we're going through that classroom time, guaranteed there's going to be a child who has to go to the bathroom, right? Well, again, remember, we never want you to be alone with a child. So how do we get around that? We create a buddy system. We make sure the kids go in groups to the bathroom. We make sure that there's kids in the room, that there are kids in the bathroom, and we take them all to the bathroom. But never, ever, ever should you be alone with a child. We don't want that to happen. Here's the other thing you got to think about. As your time comes to an end, as parents are coming to pick up their kids, don't leave that other teacher by themselves. And if the other teacher tries to leave, grab a hold of them and say, I need you to stay until all the kids are picked up. Why? Because we never want to be alone with a child. It's so important that we keep our kids safe and we keep you safe through the process also. If at all possible, have an overseer. Have somebody roaming the halls. Have a backup person that all they do is they just float. They make sure there's an extra person keeping an eye on things. And if for some reason a volunteer has to leave, maybe that volunteer has to use the restroom, maybe there's something come up where they have to step out, that overseer can fill in the spot. They can jump in and help, or they can grab somebody else to do it. It's amazing how having just an extra person floating around can make all the difference in the world. So what's that one safety thing that you're never going to forget? Never be alone with a child. Hey, this is Pastor Tony reminding you to keep your kids' ministry fresh.